Welcome to Hispanic Voices. My name is Gilbert Hernandez and I am your host. Today we have two very important ex-veterans in our community that have been working on an initiative to build a Hispanic American Veterans Memorial at the Marina. Okay.
Right.
I have Jose Rivera, which is the chair of the Western New York Hispanic American Veterans Memorial Initiative or Committee, and co-chair is Carlos Benitez. I'm sorry, Carlos. And because I messed up your name, I want to start with you. Give me a little bit of the precursor to this initiative. What brought this all together, and why did the committee decide to erect a veterans Hispanic American Veterans Memorial?
Well, thank you very much for having us here. At one point, I was the commander of the Gabriel Rodriguez American Legion Post 1928, one of the only American Legion posts with Latin American name. And so a lot of our veterans were getting together and wanting to have a concept of having some sort of a memorial in honor of the contributions that Hispanic Americans have made. And Ventura Colon in particular was one of the members, and he initiated this. And it's been about 2 or 3 years in the making, and we formalized about a year ago a committee called the Western New York Hispanic American Veterans Committee. And from that, on 11/11, we broke ground at the City of Buffalo and Erie County Naval Military Park.
Okay. And I'm sorry, that's where the memorial is going to be built.
Yes.
I said the marina, but it's not. It's at the Naval Park.
Yes.
And Jose, you're the chair. You're also part of this committee, and you've been involved in this process. And you go back. I mean, I think you started the post about 12 years ago.
We started. Well, no, actually, we started the post many years ago. Actually, it was around 1984 when we founded this thing, and I was the commander of it for about 12 years. We did wonderful things in those days, Gilbert. We were notorious for handing out scholarship to students throughout the system, and it was our source of pride for many years. But like Carlos was saying, Ventura Colon was very key into this because he was planting. He wanted that seed planted, and he did, and I'm so glad that it germinated within us.
Why? I mean, there's memorials all over the country, veterans memorials, honoring veterans.
Yeah.
Okay, and I am presuming that also includes Hispanic veterans, not just. It includes all American veterans. Why a Hispanic American memorial? And I'm not asking this to pick on you or anything. I'm just trying to get at the idea of why this is important.
A lot of people ask that question, you know, and because I'm so passionate about it, is my first response is, why not?
Okay.
Okay, but you know, the Hispanic Americans have been involved in every single military engagement since the American Revolution. You know, we had Bernardo de Galvez, who was an admiral for the Spanish, participating and helping us out in the American Revolution.
Without them, I don't think we would have made
it. and he was significant in the battles along Florida and Louisiana.
That's a good point.
You know, in the Civil War, we had contributions. In World War I, we had contributions. Yorktown, we had contributions. And so a lot of these stories have been untold. And this raises the situational awareness of the contributions. It gives positive role models locally here that have been involved in the military and contributions.
So it's pretty much to kind of level out the historical impact of veterans in American society. There is a significant and unique contribution of Hispanic veterans that's really lost in the history books, in the classrooms, in the general discussion and discourse about veterans in this country.
Indeed, I'm glad you brought that up because as we always say, a lot of this conversation gets lost in the hyphen. And we need to
hyphen
move
Hispanic American.
Hispanic American, yeah, Hispanic hyphen American, and and the questions arise: why the need to have such a hyphen in there? Well, you know, a point was made very clearly. You know, when we stand up to defend this country, and when we go to a war zone, we all bleed the same way. We're all Americans in there, and there's no distinctions. Of course, when we come into this process, we don't check our cultures, our heritage at the door. We all bring our colors with us, which is what makes this wonderful nation of ours unique, because we can come in and put all these patches together and make a wonderful quilt, which is what a lot of people fail to admire. The people from the outside look at it and say, wow, this is beautiful that you can work together like this. We are very proud to be able to work like this, and we have.
And like you mentioned, it's also very, very important to us as Hispanics, because we're not talking about losing history in the regular mainstream America, non-Hispanics. We lose history ourselves. We are very ignorant of the impact that our own culture has made, our Hispanic culture has made in the wars that this country has fought.
This monument will be a symbol of the contributions, okay? And I just want to elaborate on some of the facts, okay? Let me just read you some of the facts. Over 4,000 Spanish soldiers died during the Battle of Yorktown.
And that was the Revolutionary War, right?
Yes.
18,
half a million Hispanic Americans fought in World War II. And a disproportionate amount of numbers in Vietnam. 1 in 2 Hispanics went and served war in a combat unit. 1 in 3 wounded in action. 1 in 5 was killed. 41 Hispanic Americans from Puerto Rico have received the Congressional Medal of Honor, the highest decoration awarded to members of the United States Armed Forces.
Now that's just Puerto Ricans. We're not talking Mexicans, Nicaraguan, Dominicans that are Americans that have naturalized Americans.
And currently, there's nearly 11% of soldiers presently in the United States Armed Forces of Hispanic American descent, according to the U.S. Census. And there are more than 1 million Hispanic American veterans. So those are just some of the numbers and the why. We have a significant contribution. We have a story to be told, and we want something symbolic that's going to represent those contributions. Long overdue.
Okay. How does the impact of Hispanic, how do they filter into the hierarchy of the armed forces? You know, in terms of becoming colonels, majors, generals.
Nowadays, they're very well incorporated.
Okay.
So we have a lot of
So it's not just the grunt we're talking about. No, yeah, I mean, there has been some.
We have some generals, admirals, in all of the components: Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines. I myself am retired as a major from the U.S. Army National Guard.
Yeah, and it's very, very important, a very important point that you make, because the distinction of Hispanic American is one that is long made here in this nation. Outside of the United States, you know, these people are recognized by the country of origin. They're either Dominicans, they're Cubans, they're Mexicans, they're Puerto Ricans. Well, in each and every one of those countries, they have long traditions of military history, education, medicine, and they don't have to justify themselves. We bring all that talent in here, and they bring their contributions to this country, and God bless them, because we have put our roots in here, and all of those accomplishments that are made in all those countries are being made here.
Right.
And those contributions are being brought up to this nation, and I think that the recognition is long overdue. Gilbert, just to put this in perspective, Carlos did a study. How many monuments throughout the United States at this point? There are only 5
dedicated to Hispanic American veterans?
Yes.
To Hispanic American veterans. There are 2 right now that are being developed, aside from the one here in Buffalo. There's one in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and there's another one in Orlando. But even with all of those in place, 8 monuments, you compare across this nation, all the monuments that are in place. There's no denial that this is long overdue.
Okay, and let's get right to the monument and the idea, the concept, the physical structure of the memorial.
Well, we have a
picture
photo
here.
we want to show you.
Let me just bring this photo here, if we can just kind of grab a little picture here.
The concept of the memorial came about through our committee, and the design is that of an infantry soldier kneeling down, paying his last respects, and as you can see, the battlefield cross, which is the M16 with the helmet, the combat boots, and the dog tags. And we have 2 granite slabs that serve as the foundation. The bottom one is an octagon, and on it it's inscribed in gratitude to all Hispanic American veterans. And on the other side of that is all 5 of the emblems, Army, Air Force, Navy, Marine, Coast Guard. You have then on top of that an ellipse, a granite ellipse, black granite, which has the 21 Latin American country flags, and of course the 22nd flag. You see the United States there. Those represent all the Latin American countries in the Western Hemisphere, to include Spain, that represent all of the Latin American peoples that are participating in the United States Armed Forces. And then on top, you have a tribute to the 65th Infantry Regiment and to the Gabriel Rodriguez American Legion Post.
Good. Let's talk about that 65th Infantry Regiment, because that's important. I've heard of it in passing, but there is a deep history
After the Spanish-American War in 1898, in 1899, the United States established a presence in Puerto Rico before Puerto Rico even was part of a territory.
Right.
Although it became a territory after the Spanish-American War, it wasn't officially established as actually part of it. So they established the 65th Infantry Regiment in 1899. And that regiment went
1899?
on... 1899?
Wow.
They went on to serve in the World War I, World War II, and in Korea. And after the Korean War, they transitioned to become a National Guard unit.
Now, these are all Puerto Ricans in this regiment?
Not originally.
Originally, okay.
Well, the unit, and I was mentioning to you, there's a statue next to City Hall in Buffalo. Sam Welch was a colonel with 65th Infantry Regiment, and he was part of that garrison that went to Puerto Rico during the War of 1898, the Spanish-American War. They fought in there, and of course there were some Hispanics incorporated to that unit, but once
from the island once they got there, or before?
Before that and after.
Okay.
And after the war, the unit became a local
militia.
And it became comprised entirely, almost by Puerto Ricans.
Now, where is this regiment now? Is this still in existence?
It's a derivative. It's a reorganized National Guard unit that's in Puerto Rico.
Okay, all right. Okay. So it's there.
So a lot of times the flag is laid to rest, but disbanded and then reorganized under another. So that particular National Guard unit still has its origins with the 65th Infantry.
They have the
and
direct connection.
I have a hat
there.
If you want to focus on that for a minute there.
Right.
That was given to me. There's a book that's the 65th Infantry Regiment. There's a movie that just came out that's called the Borinqueniers. Borinquen is the old colonial word, indigenous word of Puerto Rico, and so the unit is named after Boricua, hence the Borinqueniers.
Yeah. Right.
And there's a very strong Buffalo connection to the 65th Infantry. We were very pleased to discover that our own Pucho Olivencia participated in the 65th Infantry.
Pucho was part of the 65th?
He was part of the 65th Infantry Regiment. And there's a big picture of him in front of the troops, and everybody with the weapons, and he's in front with a guitar. It's amazing.
Now,
but in Pucho style.
I just have to add this one little fact. During World War I, in Puerto Rico, they have El Morro.
Right, in Morro.
And
it's a fort.
And there was a submarine, a German submarine out in the waters, and there was a logistics boat that was in the marina there, and it went out to go resupply that. And the 65th Infantry Regiment had a battery, and they radioed out, says, "Do not go, otherwise we're going to shoot you." And that boat kept going. They fired 2 shots, and the effect was the boat came back, and hence then they took over all of the supplies, and they were not able to resupply that German warship.
Wow.
Did you know that those 2 shots, although they didn't pack steel on target, were the first 2 shots of World War I?
Fired by World War I or fired by Americans during World War I?
Fired by Americans during World War I.
Wow.
Little known fact.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I mean,
You know,
Yeah.
so you talk
And
about,
that's where the
remember the
monument-
Maine was, you know, during the Spanish-American War,
Right.
you know, you have all those things that kick
The
fired.
Alamo.
The Alamo, okay?
So, yeah.
The 65th Infantry, first to command.
Very, very critical to our history as well as Puerto Ricans, because it was that German presence in the proximity of Puerto Rico that triggered the creation of the Jones Act, the passing of the Jones Act, which declared all Puerto Ricans American citizens.
Oh, wow.
By virtue of their birth.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So since 1917, we automatically became American citizens.
So it's just been triggering
But
stuff.
that's great history, though. And now, you know, I understand why this memorial is so important. So let's get down to the memorial and see where are we right now with respect to this initiative.
Okay. On 11/11/11,
Right. You mentioned
we
you had a groundbreaking.
officially broke ground at the Naval Park. It was a very nice ceremony.
It's wonderful. I was there.
Attended by about 200 or more people. We had a lot of people that we had 12 different people, congressmen, local legislators,
Right.
the mayor of Buffalo that attended it, and since then we've been doing the fundraising initiative, and we're hoping to raise $150,000, which is going to be the cost to have this erected.
Now you also, I was there too, and I was quite impressed, you know, that I expected the normal politicians and folks from government to be there, but you had a great turnout of just regular community-minded people that normally don't go to these affairs, and they felt that this was very, very important. So there is a real great connection and enthusiasm in the community about getting this done. $150,000 doesn't seem like a lot of money. I mean, it really doesn't for a memorial of this importance. Who developed the budget for this? I mean, is that what it's going to cost for real?
It's based on cost, and it's basically to cover the materials. We have simplified this, and if you look at the concept, in fact, we have argued plenty about that concept. And some of us are still struggling with that idea, because I would like to see a female presence in there, and would like to see other things. And so we would like to think that this is not completed. But of course, like anything else, Gilbert, we can't do anything without the money. And the money is important. You are very correct in saying it's not a lot of money.
I mean, it's an advertising in one of these political campaigns for a day. It, you know, costs you maybe Romney to put an ad. You know, in Michigan, it cost them maybe $150,000, $200,000 a day.
It's a beautiful monument. We wanted to have something that was going to be long-lasting, that would make an impact. The black granite is beautiful, but the way people could get involved also is that this particular monument, out of all the monuments that are at the promenade, has pavers, and these pavers are 6 by 12 and 12 by 12, and these are individualized engraved pavers that anyone from the community is able to contribute and personalize a memorial for somebody of significance that perhaps has passed as a veteran in their family, not only of Hispanic origin, it could be of anyone.
Any veteran.
Okay?
You want to honor.
Anglo, Black, Indian, anyone who wants to contribute can contribute by buying a brick for $200 for 6 by 12 or $400 for 12 by 12. And that would give you 4 lines of 18 characters or 8 lines of 18 characters, which is a lot to be able to write on there. Perhaps saying Private Jose Sanchez, World War II, and then a little something on the bottom of it.
And this is kind of a no-brainer to be part of this, because this is stuff that will be there for generations.
Yes,
you
in
know,
perpetuity.
You're
in
actually
perpetuity.
making your name to be there for hundreds and hundreds of years. For what? For maybe $200. That's a major deal right there.
And it's not only that, Gilbert.
Now you got the land. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's start with that. The land was donated.
Donated by the city. The Naval Park provided the land for us. But you mentioned something very important to us. You said that there were a lot of people there. I wasn't able to be there.
Yeah, no, your mom was.
Yeah, since then she passed, as you know. But I was very proud of these guys. They did a wonderful job. But the main thing, the main point I want to make is that once this monument is completed, it becomes patrimony of our city. That means that everybody has a vested interest in this monument, because it'll be part of our art, it'll be part of our monuments and our local history, and we will be able to bring people from other places of the world to come in to see this thing. So it's in our interest for all of us to make sure that this happens, and we should all think that all of us have a role in making this happen.
I don't want to run out of time before I get some information on how can people become involved in this project and initiative. And you're right in the middle now of raising the money.
Yes. We have corporate sponsorships at the Brigadier General level is $25,000. At the Colonel contribution is $15,000. At the Lieutenant Colonel contribution is $10,000. At the Master Chief is $5,000. At the Sergeant Major is $2,500.
And for every one of those sections, they get a whole bunch of goodies.
Right. You know, like for example, the Brigadier General, you would get 1 ruggedized wood steel bench. There's going to be 5 of those that are available there. So you'll have a personalized inscription on that bench that people could sit down and comfortable. A full-page ad in the program booklet when we do the unveiling. Your banner displayed center stage during the memorial unveiling. Acknowledgement in all press releases, publications, promotions. Your business organization inscribed at the site plaque with a 5x8 lettering. So there's going to be permanent contributors that'll be part of the monument that you didn't see in that picture there. And also invitations to the evening VIP event at the Naval Park. The lower one will have, for example, just a 6x12 brick paver personalized with the press acknowledgement and the invitation. So it goes from high to low.
Right. Okay. Let's go with phone numbers, PO boxes. Now, go ahead.
The PO box is PO Box 532, Buffalo, New York 14201, and that could be sent in care of Hispanics United of Buffalo for the care of Hispanic American Veterans Memorial.
Now do the box again. Post Office Box.
P.O. Box 532.
532.
Buffalo, New York 14201. Checks made out to Hub, care of Hispanic American Veterans Memorial. And the phone number is 716-856-7110, extension 101.
Give me the phone number again.
I say again, 716-856-7110, extension 101.
And all contributions are welcome, whether there be from $5 to however high you want to go. Because you don't have to, you don't have to buy a brick to contribute. No. If you just want to be part of this process and you feel that is an important memorial to erect, and then you just give some resources.
Gilbert, equally important before we run out of time, we don't want to be remiss in bringing and highlighting the role of Hispanics United of Buffalo in this endeavor.
Okay.
They have been very key. They have volunteered to be our pass-through agency, and they're doing a wonderful, wonderful job at representing our cause. So we want to give
Lourdes
credit
Iglesias, executive director.
Lourdes Iglesias, she's one of us, by the way. She's a female
She's a
veteran.
Right.
Right.
She's part of the committee too,
Yes.
I think. Yeah.
Right. And their role in this endeavor. We are going to have a webpage for that. You just mentioned the fact that people will be able to make donations.
And you're going to have a package like this that you will, present to corporate
Yes.
entities
Yes.
to contribute. Now, what's the timeline, the time frame in terms
Okay.
of?
Well, we're letting the contributions dictate the timeline, but we are aggressively anticipating that we want to have this done hopefully by Memorial Day, and if not, then we'll push it back to
Memorial Day
of this year.
year.
if
When
not-
is in?
right.
When is Memorial Day this year?
Well, it's in May, but
May
that doesn't look
31st,
like
yeah.
it might materialize. Then we'll push it back to either the 4th of July or to veterans.
Now, have you approached any foundations? Yeah, you have the private sector
We have.
here.
We have a lot of people that are have given us some verbal commitments,
Yeah.
and those we're following through. So we're looking forward that this particular show will highlight the need, and that will get people kick-started to come in. We are located on Facebook, so if you go on Facebook and you put
So you can get a lot of information on
Hispanic
this.
American,
Right.
right.
Okay, great.
Hispanic American, boom, Facebook, it'll get you to the community page.
Right.
Cass Rodriguez have done a wonderful, marvelous job sending out packages to all the foundations and all the corporations. So we're hoping that that is going to begin to generate some funds for
Now,
us
Kaz
pretty soon.
Rodriguez is also part of this committee, and Kaz's family has been involved.
Yes.
And Benny is also part of the
Yes.
committee. And actually, the Gabriel
Rodriguez post was named after Kaz's brother.
Family member,
Okay.
yeah.
So we have, and everyone, when you talk about it, just like you said, the initiative at 1111 brought a lot of people. There was a lot of testimony and witness
Right.
to the contributions locally, and people are very passionate. So we're hoping that you get on board again. It's P.O. Box 532, Buffalo, New York, 14201. Hispanic American Veterans Memorial in care of Hub. The phone, 856-7110, extension 101.
Or you can actually, if that may be a little too complicated, the easiest way is to go on Facebook.
Facebook,
Type in-
Hispanic American
Veterans
Memorial, and you'll get right
And
to
you'll
us.
and that information that you just mentioned would be there for
Yes.
them to
Yes.
be able to
Yes.
contact whoever they need to do. And again, you don't have to buy bricks. You don't have to do a minimum of $200. You can do a minimum of $5.
We're going to be selling bracelets. We're going to be selling.
That's right. You're going to be selling
merchandise.
bracelets,
Not only that, but we need people to come forward so that when we have events and forums to join the committee. I mean, just because it's only 12 of us that are spearheading this, we have a lot of subcommittees that they can help us out with.
Okay. Thank you so much. And this is just part one of a few shows I want to have on this initiative.
Thank you.
We are going to sit here one day and say it's done.
Okay.
That's a
We really
guarantee.
thank you, Gilbert.
That's a promise.
for-
Thank
All
you,
right,
guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Okay. There you go.